With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.
Hello, and welcome to the Green and Growing Show. I am Margie Hammerschmidt, Ellis County Master Gardener with the Cottonwood Extension District of K-State Research and Extension. With me today is Holly Dickman, Water Conservation Specialist for the City of Hays. A very warm welcome to you, Holly.
Thank you, Margie. Well, thank you for having me. I'm pleased to be here on the show. It's a very warm spot in my heart to be back with this group to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's water conservation. And so today we're here at the Backyard Family Garden to talk about water conservation in the garden, which a lot of people right now are out planting their gardens. They're starting to get those things going finally after this cold spring. And there's a few things to consider when you're talking about water conservation. One of those is making sure your soil is properly prepared. Adding organic matter, things like that will help the water infiltrate down a little bit better. Doing things that maybe reduce your water usage overall. Make sure you're only planting things that you will use. You know, at my house, you know, I'm a horticulturalist by heart, so I love to plant things and I love to grow things, but sometimes I don't necessarily eat those things, or my kids won't eat those things. So if you're really trying to conserve water, try to just plant those things that you know you will use in the garden. Maybe it's tomatoes, maybe it's cucumbers. Stick with the things that you know will be used. As far as actual watering in the garden, you know, it's a common misconception that people think they need to water every single day, and that is just not the case with vegetable gardens. There are some vegetables that are a little more finicky, like tomatoes, that need more regular watering, but really the goal is to get a nice deep root system and then allow those plants to dry out some in between before you water again, and that'll make most efficient use of your water. One of the things that I like to talk about most at this time of year and is such a benefit to the garden is mulch. And so I'm gonna walk over here to this rhubarb, which looks really pretty right now, and talk about mulch. Mulch serves several purposes. For one, it helps to reduce evaporation during the heat of summer. So when you water, that moisture will stay in the soil much, much longer. It also helps to keep your your weed competition down, and we all know that weeds, they're a pain to pull, but they also compete for water. So you want to make sure and keep that competition down. The other thing too that I kind of alluded to is that it keeps the soil cooler. We know it gets hot here in the summertime, and so if you can keep the soil cool, that'll help moderate those soil temperatures, it'll help reduce the stress on that plant, and it'll help keep the soil cooler and moister longer. So when we talk about a vegetable garden, we're talking typically straw. Straw is one of the favorites of local gardeners to use, and that's a great thing to use if you can get your hands on some. And when we're talking straw, we're talking about a 2 to 4 inch layer around those plants. Too little and you'll have root or weeds coming up through that. Too much and that's not good either, but a 2 to 4 inch layer right around those plants is ideal. If you're using grass clippings, like a lot of gardeners like to use, 1 inch is plenty. And we're talking dried grass clippings that have been dried for a couple of weeks. And one tip there is just to make sure that you don't use grass clippings on or from a lawn that was recently sprayed with a broadleaf weed killer, because that in turn can cause some damage to your plants. Now, this is the time of year that a lot of people are gardening, like I said. However, you don't want to put the mulch down immediately. If you just planted seeds, make sure those seeds are up and growing before you go in and cover everything with mulch. But usually the end of May, beginning of June, that's a great time to get out and mulch those vegetables and make sure you conserve water in the garden. I'll turn it back over to Margie.
Thank you, Holly. I'd like to close the program today with a few timely topics from the Master Gardeners. These are just a few pieces of quick advice about things to do right now related to all things green and growing. If you enjoy watching birds come into your yard, keep shallow tubs, bird baths, or trays filled with water for them to drink and bathe in. Empty and refill those daily so that they are kept clean and to reduce the chance of mosquitoes breeding in them. Place a shallow dish of water to provide places for butterflies and bees to perch on while they drink by putting pebbles or small stones at the bottom. Mud puddles also provide important minerals for the butterflies and the bees. Related to vegetables and fruits, when your rhubarb sends up the seed stalks, go ahead and remove those to encourage more leaf growth to increase the healthiness of your plant. Until newly transplanted seedlings develop hardy root systems, make sure that they don't dry out, or there's a chance that you might lose them. After they have strong root systems, then you can delay the watering. Stay on top of those weeds. Catching them before they begin to spread will make your job a whole lot easier the rest of the season. Related to flowers, go ahead and begin pinching off your chrysanthemum flower buds to make bushier plants. Continue the pinching until around the 4th of July. Related to lawn, it's smart to withhold early summer watering until your turf really needs it. This encourages the roots to grow deeply into the soil to promote a more healthy, drought-tolerant lawn. Related to trees and shrubs, carefully use line trimmers around trees and shrubs so as to not damage the tender bark with your lawnmower. Better yet, go ahead and remove the sod to create a circle around the base of your trees and shrubs and cover that soil with a 3 to 4 inch layer of organic mulch like wood chips or shredded bark. But be sure to keep a small distance away from the trunk so that the mulch doesn't soften the bark of the tree that encourages disease or pests. One last tip is related to houseplants. It's easy to wash off dusty leaves in the shower under room temperature water. To reduce the soil in the pots from splashing all over your shower, you can first cover the soil by stretching some plastic wrap over the top of your pot, under the leaves, and up around the stems of the plant. This has been Margie Hammerschmidt, Ellis County Master Gardener, and Holly Dickman, Water Conservation Specialist from the City of Hays, reporting for K-State Research and Extension and Eagle TV.
With our current weather conditions, it takes a real expert to create landscape that'll thrive. Riedel's Garden Center has the staff with the expertise of water requirements for plants, lawns, and landscapes that'll stand up to our changing weather conditions. With 25 years of hands-on experience, owner Darren Riedel will customize a landscape design and irrigation system to meet your expectations and our climate. It's recommended to protect your lawn using Fertilome products available at Riedel's Garden Center, an authorized dealer. Call or stop by Riedel's Garden Center today.